everybody. I'm talking to you from the floor today because I'm going to be demonstrating a little something different. I'm going to be drawing and painting with my foot. So here we go. Come along and join me. So how did I first get started with this painting with my foot thing? A friend of mine, Robert Beatty, told me about a friend that he knew that could write with both her hands and her feet. And he encouraged me to try painting with my feet. And I thought, well, that's going to be kind of difficult. But then at school, when I was showing the students how I could draw with both hands, one of them suggested doing it with my feet. So I thought, why not? Let's give it a shot. Now I'm better with my right foot than my left foot. I'll have to work some more on the left foot, just like I worked on my left hand over the years. You're using the same thought processes in your brain to see, but if you did something that was a brand new shape, it might be more difficult. There's a thing in education that we called background knowledge. So I'm picking a person to draw and paint that I have a little bit more background knowledge because I'm hooking up something old with something new. The something old is, I know this face pretty well. You'll be able to tell who it is when I'm finished, I think. The new thing is, I don't paint with my foot a lot. So I'm pairing that as new knowledge. Now, my upper thigh actually gets kind of tired when I do this, so I might rest every now and then. I'm using a lot of my upper thigh muscles. When I first started doing this, I guided my leg with my hand on my upper thigh, but then I grew from that to trying to just use my leg. And it is definitely a lot more difficult. Once again, I'm using a Copic pen. This time I am using the chisel tip though. I'm going to actually try switching to my other foot because my right foot my leg is getting kind of worn out here. So let's see how I do with doing some of this with my other foot. I have not tried doing both feet together. I think I just need more confidence with this foot. Maybe I need to put the pen up higher, try different things with positioning and such. I just tapped my reference photo over there. That's why I leaned down. So, my left foot needs so much more work and muscle control. I'm really going to have to practice on it. So now that my right foot's rested, I'm going to go back with working with my right foot. What I'm working on is a very old canvas board that I've had for years in my stash. And it's wonderful because if I don't like what I'm doing, I could also gesso over it and start something new. I will be using paint here in a second. Right now, I'm just using the marker to plan out my sketch. Kind of wish I would have put his chin and face down a little bit lower to show more of this guy's hair, but oh well. Again, since I'm painting, I could actually just paint over stuff and make it down lower, which I might do because his hair is such a cool part of who he is. Okay, so as you see, my line quality isn't that great. I have to work with my proportions a bit, but I'm still using the same skills I did with my hand, and my right foot is definitely better at this than my left foot. I just made a line I didn't want to make with not with my foot there, but oh well. So now I'm going to move on to paint. I'm using acrylic paint, which you can make either watery or thick, depending on what you want to do. I am going to grab the paint itself with my hand because I don't trust my feet yet with that. So I'm painting in the studio that my husband, Marty Brindupke, set for me in the house, which was very kind. Because when I take over a studio, it's pretty messy in here. It's nothing you want to send anybody into, like a guest you'd want to rope it off and not show it to anyone. I'm a very messy artist. So I'm going to dip in the paint some more and do some more shadowing. And again, this guy would be better if I started him down lower. It's not the best because I want to show more of his forehead. He actually has a longer forehead. I'm so tempted to get in there with my hand and fix it, but I won't. But he's a pretty well-known figure. May or may not be able to guess who he is. So I'm balancing my thigh on my arm, but trying not to guide my foot with my arm and using that as a crutch. Let's see if I go over here and dip it in the paint. Okay, so I'm dipping my foot in the paint. I didn't use my hand that time. Although if I need to clean my brush or go in the water, I think I'll use my hand because that would be crazy difficult. But again, where there's a will, there's a way. It helps if you take something you know of and pair it something with something new. That always helps you learn a new task because it's not as overwhelming as doing something that's totally new. I know art, I know faces, and my foot doesn't exactly know this process, but I'm learning to adapt it to the process. It's easier to work with paint than something like a marker because it has more flexibility. I can use more gross motor movement, which means big, not icky, big motor skills, as opposed to fine motor movement. Fine motor movement is more your hands, and your feet are obviously bigger than your hands. So in using larger tools, it adapts better, paintbrushes and paints, to my clumsy foot than something like a mechanical pencil would. Same thing when you're teaching, young children to write or paint. You usually start them out with the fat pencils, and then later you graduate to smaller instruments as they gain fine motor control. So, boy, my leg's getting tired. This is tough work. This is definitely a workout. I'm going to try switching to my other foot for some of this hair. See how we do. I'll clean out my brush a little bit. Actually, since the hair is white, I'm kind of trying to paint around the negative space where the hair is. Lots of times painters, it's normal to like prep your canvas by doing a darker background. I chose not to do that this time. That's okay. But by prepping with a dark background and building your highlights on top of it, it's easier to see more contrast. Maybe I'll try doing that another time, prepping it with a dark background. Maybe I'll do that by hand and then paint the actual image with my foot. Again, this is quite a workout. I'm not used to using these muscles. Maybe I should do this a few minutes every day because, boy, these leg muscles are weak. Let me tell you, compared to my hands. My hands get worn out too, though. So we're continuing here, doing the space kind of around the hair. And, this would take, it's a long process to do value range and all the other details that you normally do while you're painting. Again, his forehead really needs to be higher, and I'm going to need to work on him again. But that's what artists do. We practice things again and again till we get it right. Just like when you edit a paper, if you're a writer, you don't just consider the first thing the best. When you're learning or doing a new process, it's something you work on continually for a little bit each day to get better at it. So anyway, that's all for today. That's my foot painting and drawing. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to have to practice to get better at it, but it was fun and definitely a workout. See you soon. Bye-bye.